Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of SportsPoint, brought to you by Pointer Studios. I am your host, Jacob Spoerl. Joined here to my left, we have Alex Proctor, Brody Kupsky, and Statz. How you doing, guys?
Kind of dead on the inside.
We'll talk about why that is.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple of things. This is the season opener. We are so back for SportsPoint. I'm very excited to share all of our sports takes with you guys.
Used, we are so back.
I know I did. We are so back. This year I'm excited to host it and just have fun with you guys. Hopefully, the goal this year is trying to get more student athletes on campus, trying to get them to hear their stories hopefully and get their sports takes. That's kind of brought to you on the back of Mr. Alex Proctor here. So you're the catalyst. You're the beginning of it all.
Yep.
To start us off this week. We have our crowning champion segment. This is our segment of the show where we highlight anything big in the sports world. I'll get started. Any NFL kicker that is jobless has a new home. You can go to the Green Bay Packers because we need you.
I think you are overreacting a little bit.
Look, we'll get into it later.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a little.
And we still almost won the game. So
yes. But we did win because our kicker missed 2 kicks.
Three interceptions doesn't help either. It's all I'm saying.
This is true.
That's all I'm saying.
We'll get into more of that later. Liam, do you have something for us?
Yeah, Jared Goff throwing a perfect game. 18 for 18 with 292 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as a receiving pass for a touchdown.
From Amon-Ra St. Brown. Really helped my fantasy this week. So.
That did not for me. Brody, you have something for us?
The Detroit Tigers making the playoffs after not getting a chance at the beginning of the season. Their late season push was insane. I remember seeing a little graph chart of them starting out really at the bottom, almost rock bottom, and then pretty much from August onward, it was just skyrocketing. They got a great young squad there, a lot of great pitching. I believe they won today. I'll get into that later. But that's a big opportunity for them for being a young squad with a lot of hope they didn't really get in the offseason. So
didn't love that was two Detroit kind of teams.
That's the one Detroit team I'm okay with.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm fine with the Lions.
Wow.
I don't know about you guys. I am fine with the Lions.
They've been good. We know. I'm sick of it.
It's their first season being good in their entire existence, bro. I'm sorry.
We're at the limit. They were pretty fun to watch, though. I'll give it to them. Next up, our next segment is the 3-Point Try Campus Roundup. Okay. And we're once again, this year, brought to you by Point Brewery. The flavor of the month is Point Premium Root Beer, so I'm going to have each one of us try a little bit. Let's see if we can open it on the first try.
I had a problem with it all year last year.
Just lock in.
Let me try.
You got it?
No.
Let me try.
Oh.
I'm so sick of this. It happens every time.
Now you're cursed for the whole rest of
I just have soft hands, I guess.
All right, that's pretty good.
See, I'm not big on root beer, so it's I taste it and it's not great, but point soda, I can tell you.
He's a big fan of Kitty Cocktail.
Once we get Kitty Cocktail, I'm gonna be.
Will the soft hands be operable then?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Oh my goodness. All right, so to start off, I'll start us off with UWSB soccer in this campus, or in this segment, we highlight a single aspect of all different sports from campus. So I'll start off with soccer. Our men's soccer team, brand new this fall. We are currently 6-2-3, so nice winning record there. We are ranked 3rd in the WIAC currently. We have not lost at home. Specifically, we're 3-0-2. So we've had 2 ties, but we have not lost yet at home. Devin Wilkerson, freshman, leading the team in goals with 6. Does he happen to be your favorite player?
Yeah, he is my favorite player right now, Jacob. The kid's always working hard, always buzzing around. So
is he inspired from you?
I don't know. He's a freshman, so he's
so much a hockey player answer. Just out there buzzing around. He's finding his spot.
No, well, he is. A couple weeks ago, the goalie had the ball and kicked it right at him. And Devin just standing there. He wasn't just standing there. He's running straight at the goalie, kicked it in. right into the net.
I can imagine that
You
is.
should do some soccer analysis.
I would-
That's pretty good.
I would.
You guys
I would
ever see
love
Play with a Chance of Meatballs in the officer when like,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
that's what I only could imagine when he said it.
All
Like,
right, we're getting
straight
off
at the
track.
guy.
Last week, Devin Wilkerson earned WIAC Athlete of the Week honors, so congrats to him. He acknowledged a little bit ago. So that's still awesome to see. Right now, our men's soccer team is coming off a 2-0 win at River Falls. Our next game is at home against Beloit College. It'll be on Wednesday, October 2nd, so the show will be out after that. So we'll see how that goes. Next up, we have our women's soccer team who are currently 3-4-4. They're ranked 5th in the WIAC. Gabby Dunn, who's a senior, Krista Borkhardt, who's a freshman, and Cass Kupsky, who's a junior. They're all tied with leading the team in goals with 3. The team is coming off a tie at St. Mary's University, which is in Winona, Minnesota. And the next game is at Stout on Saturday, October 5th. So we'll see how they do then.
You know what's funny about St. Mary's? So last year I played a baseball game out in Winona, probably about this time, towards the end of October last year, and I went and watched their men's hockey team play Stout. That actually happened. We watched their scrimmage, and it was certainly one of the games.
Didn't you
that I
get credited with
watched.
a goal in that one? Am I thinking of is that?
No, that
I
was-
have a different one.
I have an assist. I have 2 assists against St. Mary's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, goalies did you know that goalies can score goals?
I think Brody told me something like that, but that's
Coolest part is that we play St. Mary's this year in hockey November 9th, so
Yep. At
Nice.
home.
it's a home game. Yippee.
awesome. All right, we're gonna throw it to you, Liam. What do you have for us?
All right, well, I have women's volleyball. They swept Stout last Wednesday. L. Reese Kupsky.
It's
L. That's Reese Kupsky mention. You know about the Reese Kupsky mention, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just
Yeah.
make sure.
Good.
I'm aware.
I'm glad because we covered this game at 90 FM, and
Yes.
I personally did play-by-play, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. This team was all over the board. A lot of great stuff out of their team against Stout. And Stout, I want to say, beat Platteville, who also beat Oshkosh. Oshkosh was
Yeah, I remember you telling us about it. So by transitive law, Point is winning the WIAC right now. By transitive law, all that stuff.
It counts. I mean,
Yeah,
No.
it's
good.
good. They split 2 games in the Dubuque River Classic, 3-1 over Dubuque, but then lost and was swept by number 11 Milliken University. So did lose against a ranked team, which I'm happy with that loss. They will face lacrosse in lacrosse next Friday, so this upcoming Friday as of the time of filming. And Ashley Kopp is now up to 279 kills.
So wait, even further past the record.
Pretty
Yes.
much.
Yes.
Probably is going to set a really unattainable record.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna throw it to you, Brody. What do you have for us?
So I have golf. Men's golf recently played in the UW Stout Invitational.
Shout out Cooper Ullman.
There you go.
That guy.
They played this past Sunday and Monday I think they just do Sunday and Monday meets, I guess. They took 4th as a team out of 22 teams on Sunday, and then took 6th as a team on Monday. They are led by senior Ethan Melberg, who finished 20th with a score of +4 between the 2 days. Senior Josh Brogan, who also plays on the men's volleyball team, had an improved day on Monday, finishing with a -2. It was a 16-stroke improvement from Sunday's play. So congrats to him. Big shout out to him. Season seems to be done until spring because they don't have anything more on their schedule. So hopefully they kind of pull it together and come back in the spring ready to play. Women's golf most recently competed at the UWW Whitewater Fall Invitational on the 22nd and the 23rd. They finished 16th out of 17 on the 22nd, and then 14th out of 17th on the 23rd. They were led by junior Kate Downey, who tied for 29th. Not a great showing out of the pointers, but they can come back at the WIAC Championships this upcoming weekend on the 4th, so Friday and Saturday, at Reedsburg, Wisconsin. They're playing at the Reedsburg Country Club, I believe. So big shout out to them. Hopefully they compete well and maybe bring home a WIAC championship. You never know.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Alex, I'm gonna throw it to you. What do you have for us?
Yep, I got football from Saturday, September 21st. It was our home opener and our pink game. There were 2 major weather delays. The game took way longer than it should have.
Brody wanted to
You were
die.
there.
It was a long day.
We got there. Well, you guys got there at 10:30. I got there at about 11. You guys did not leave until like 7 o'clock.
Yes.
That would be correct.
Rain,
Yeah.
moving quick.
Hey, technically that game's still happening too, right?
Yep.
In a sense,
Yep.
yeah.
We'll get to that. The Pointers were defeated by the Gustavus Adolphus Gusties out of the MIAC, 31-10. Like Liam said, we ended the game with about 2.5 minutes left, and yeah, so technically it's not over. We can still get the comeback. Miles Gallagher from the Pointers brought in a 72-yard touchdown catch, the only touchdown for UWSP.
Shook off like 3 defenders.
That was
doing it,
such a
too.
cool.
It was a great play.
Good number 2 on the yardage. The Gusties, Demarion Brown, freshman from Kilgore, Texas, which is about 2.5 hours east of Dallas, had 3 touchdowns, including a 62-yard rushing touchdown and totaling 218 rushing yards.
3rd string running back, by the way.
Yes.
He was not on our roster
Not on the
sheet.
roster sheet at all.
Brown was super fun to watch, and man, him gaining yards after contact was impressive. Like I said earlier, game ended with 2.5 minutes left due to the weather. It was a fun game to be at for a great cause. The Pointers look to return this Saturday at home against Stout. It's going to be the first conference game of the season. It's homecoming and Spud Bowl. So
We'll be there. That's going to be exciting. It was a close and competitive game the first half against the Gusties.
Yep.
You have something you want to say?
Didn't Stout just blow out Northwestern Minnesota like 52-19?
Yeah, they also, I think it was a ranked team too that they beat. So it's gonna be a tough one.
You know what the craziest thing is? Everybody said that Stout was going to be the team that we beat this year for our first
It
conference
hasn't happened yet. What
in
if we do?
like 5 years.
It's going to happen, man. You don't
Yeah.
believe
I am the biggest doubter right now.
I'm
I've got to
the
be
biggest
100%
believer.
honest.
no, I'm gonna side with Jacob on this one.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
need to
You
get it
gotta
done.
believe.
We're going to win.
Just gotta believe.
Listen, I believed all of the 4 years that I've been here too that we would win more than 2 football games, but
Just believe a little longer. And then you're done. I was kidding. All right, that will take us to our NFL update. So I'll run through this. The Green Bay Packers, the first 4 weeks of the season, don't do that. We're 2-2. That's 500. The NFC North, our division, is extremely competitive right now. Probably the most competitive I've ever
I hate the fact
seen.
Sam Darnold is undefeated. I want that to be known.
Don't we all? Yes.
It does hurt.
The Vikings not only lead our division, but they lead our conference at 4-0. So they remain undefeated. We just lost to them. Our rival I despise. We just lost them this past weekend. It was Jordan Love's first game back from his
Shouldn't
injury.
have put him in. Shouldn't have put him in.
I
I can't believe it was.
So
3 interceptions.
hold on. Let me get there.
All right.
So, for anyone unaware, Love was coming into the game wearing a Brett Favre jersey, repping Brett Favre, who this past week, or about a week ago, was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease last week. He also played like Brett
Dude,
Favre.
you can't say that. You can't say
He also
that.
played like Brett Favre
Wow.
by throwing 4 touchdowns and also 3 interceptions against the Vikings. But I mean,
I'm gonna
threw
throw
for
this bottle cap
389 yards, he had a 59.3 completion percentage. He honestly, like in the second half, I think he did play a bit better.
You didn't mention the fact that we didn't score any points until the final 30 seconds of the first
Because we
half.
didn't need to. Because,
Oh, yeah?
I mean, the
Yeah.
final score of the game was 31-29. We lost by 2. But it is important.
Yeah, how many field
to
goals
know-
did we miss?
We missed 2. And it is important to note, at one point in the game, we were down 28-0. But in the second half, the Packers outscored the Vikings 22-3. We really almost came back.
22 of them unanswered.
Yeah, 22 straight unanswered. That's nuts. They almost came back, and I mean, I'm not too worried about this loss, to be completely honest with you. I think Love isn't like fully back yet. He's also shaking off the rust. I think people forget how young and how he still has some decent experience, but not a lot.
He's trying to be Aaron Rodgers. Especially you saw that on his last interception. I mean, he is trying to force
But I
him
think
back.
we also have to be honest here, and that the Vikings are a good team and have a good defense.
Over my dead corpse.
I don't know, man. They beat the
Dude,
Texans.
I
They beat
refuse to believe that Sam Darnold is that good. I'm just sorry.
Just let them get to playoffs, though. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying they're this next great team. They're gonna collapse, and I'm here to watch it all. But Justin Jefferson's still a great receiver. Aaron Jones is playing pretty well. He didn't score a touchdown though.
Thank goodness.
Thank you.
I think that might have been the final straw.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something else to note. Xavier McKinney now has 4 interceptions, each one in every game. He's continuing the streak. Right now, I think he's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
You'll find no argument from me.
He is on fire, and anyone who throws his way, he's intercepting a quarterback at least once a game, which is insane. Now, it is important to note these next couple of weeks are must-win games for the Packers to keep pace with the rest of the division. This upcoming week, the Packers are going to SoFi in California to face an injured Rams team. I believe we will win.
I believe that we will win.
Just can't let their guard get down. Obviously, you see that the Rams are injured. I mean, they lost their 2 best wide receivers. I know this because I had them both in fantasy.
Yep.
So I'm dead on the inside from that. But
Brody's about to be dead on the inside about something else here.
we'll get to it though. No.
Okay, we'll get to it in a minute.
But you can't let your guard down, especially against an injured team like this. They beat the 49ers despite their injuries and played pretty well.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
did.
against the Bears, I thought, but
Love to see the Niners lose. All right, so then for our primetime picks for the rest of the league, I'm going to have each one of you guys pick a different primetime game. So starting off, we're going to have Thursday Night Football. This is the Falcons at the Buccaneers, an NFC South matchup. Alex, what do you think?
I'm going to have to go with the team with the better logo. I'm not the biggest football guy. The Buccaneers. Okay.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah,
They
that's a
played
great pick.
really,
I'm upset about that.
They played really,
Baker Mayfield
really
on a
well
short
against
range
the
tour.
Eagles. So, that's a good pick.
You mean the Falcons?
No, the Buccaneers played the Eagles.
Oh, did they play them last night?
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Lock in, Liam.
pay attention.
Brody, I'm going to have you pick this week's Sunday Night Football matchup. This is Cowboys at Steelers, a little 70s, 80s
Ooh,
classic.
yeah. So, I mean, if this was like any good 80s, former Super Bowl matchup, it would be tough pick. But I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys. I know the Steelers find a way to somehow win a game despite being like a terrible offense. I mean, Justin Fields has been good
He's
for
been
them.
playing pretty well.
But I'm going to choose the Cowboys because they have those weapons on offense. Their defense is usually pretty good, although it's been kind of rough lately. And I think Mike Parsons might have gotten hurt, but I'm not sure. It's hard to pick the Steelers, especially when how battered they are and kind of relying too much on their defense to kind of bail them out. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys here.
What are you making that face for? You're like wincing. I couldn't control it. It's all right. Speaking of you, Liam, you get to pick this week's Monday Night Football matchup.
Listen, it pains me to even talk about the Cowboys, right? Because they're
It's-
just so awful.
I know. I'm here to see that.
Also,
as well.
The same thing about this pick I've got to make.
So
It
yeah,
pains
it's
me to make
Saints
this.
at Chiefs for Monday Night Football.
Oh man, I wonder who I'm gonna pick in that one. Crazy.
You could pick the Saints. Saints are decent.
They don't get bailed out every game like the Chiefs do. So.
Yes, I know.
They have Taylor Swift.
Oh, don't
Don't you understand?
Yeah.
It's Taylor Swift. So obviously
She
we're going with the
controls it
Chiefs.
all.
They're undefeated. And even though Kelsey's playing like terrible, I still gotta go.
I just want to say those Rashee Rice did get hurt last game.
They lost their wide receiver 1 and their running back 1 in the span of 4 weeks.
That's true.
I still truly believe in my heart that it's going to be the Chiefs because of everything that's happened so far.
All right, I won't knock you for that. And that'll be all for our NFL update. Brody.
All right, we're into my favorite segment, MLB Update.
Oh, hey,
But I just want to say the Brewers finished 93-69 this season. They were NL Central champs, the 3rd seed in the playoffs. Like we said, they won the NL Central. That's awesome. A lot of people were not giving them hope. A lot of people picked them to finish 4th to 5th. One expert predicted them to finish it 2nd, so nobody predicted them to finish
You were
1st.
wrong.
This man is salty.
You were wrong.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating because it's like, well, now I'm going to be more salty. Because right now the Brewers are playing in the playoffs.
This very moment.
the playoffs are going on today,
Play.
and it's frustrating because the Brewers just lost. So this
look.
this
Yeah, we
segment's
lost
gonna be
8-4, buddy.
this segment's gonna be tough.
That's
They lost
That's
to
what you were
the
reacting to?
yes, they lost to the Mets 8-4.
That's
today.
why I was saying he's gonna be
Oh.
salty about something else here in a
So
second.
it's a rough feeling.
5-run.
But we're gonna get through this. We're gonna be tough. We're gonna stay strong.
5-run fifth inning.
Hype us up, Brody. Come on.
So, like we said, they made the postseason for the 5th time in 6 years.
Milwaukee Cowboys.
Just did it in spite of many injuries that we've had and lack of experience. A lot of key injuries. Brandon Woodruff, who even threw out the first pitch today at the Brewer game. That was awesome. Wade Miley, Christian Yelich, Robert Gazzer. Devin Williams was hurt for about 3 months and came back. Lack of experience because we have a bunch of young guys and a bunch of guys that have never made the playoffs. Liam, although, has to go through a table now because of a bet that Frankie Bright came up with last year. So shout out to Frankie Bright. I love you, buddy.
He's just salty that I made him shave his mustache, alright? That's all I'm gonna say.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yes.
He used to have like a really nice mustache. We made a bet. I don't know what it was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
I believe it was last
Season.
September.
Yeah.
You can actually find it like one of the first few episodes. I think Liam came up with the bet.
Shave it all the way
Oh, that's
off.
a good impression.
That's pretty accurate.
Make fun of my impression right now, too.
No, I said it was good. Lay off. Are we decent?
So the playoff roster came out. The playoffs are happening right now. So as of October 1st, it came out like I think 11 o'clock this morning when
Yes.
I was sitting at eating some lunch. Some big key players that I saw that weren't on the roster were Hobie Milner and Brian Hudson, 2 lefty relievers. I was very sad because I love Hobie Milner. Andrew Monasterio and Isaac Collins were kept on the roster. Monasterio being a third baseman and Isaac Collins for the outfield. And no Jacob Mizorowski, the flame-throwing tall right-hander in the minor leagues. Maybe he'll be called up next season. Who knows? Kind of sucks because he's a great arm who's been pitching really well in the bullpen for Nashville. So what is next for them? Like we said, playoffs are starting right now. They started Tuesday. While we record this episode, it's a best-of-3 game series against the Mets at home. And like you said, they lost 8-4, and I'm feeling dead on the inside. And I actually have it in the script. I am sitting here in agony after the Brewers went down 8-4. The bullpen is...
Hey, you know what? Could be worse. Your team couldn't even be in the playoffs.
We won the World Series last year. That's okay. That's okay.
That's true.
Liam, why do you even say that?
Because it's.
Your team won the World Series?
Oh.
Oh, didn't think so.
Alright.
Didn't think so. I don't even feel bad.
Bullpen is lackluster. It's very sad. At least Bryce Strang and Jackson Trio gave me hope. Hopefully they can win Game 2 and force Game 3. I mean, Willie Adames is awesome. I hope they keep him next season. But for the Brewers, I mean, they will come back to a Game 2, I believe, tomorrow. This, as of today, it will be Wednesday, so hopefully they win that and force a Game 3, which out of the 3 years that they've had the 7th seed, or 7th seeded playoffs, or no, 6th seeded playoffs, there has been only 3 games or 3 series that have ever went to a Game 3. So it's very rare, but it could happen.
It needs to happen.
Yes, it does.
It needs to happen because I can't see them bow out of the first round again. Can't do it.
So playoffs started today. So this, like, as we're recording, and actually pretty much all of today, there has been a wild card series. So on the NL side, like we said, the Brewers lost in their wild card matchup against the Mets. Atlanta plays San Diego, and that starts in about 10 minutes or so as we're recording this. And the AL side is the Tigers versus the Astros. The Detroit Tigers won Game 1, so that's very awesome for them. And
Especially
then,
over the Astros.
yes, that is very cool.
Yes.
The Kansas City Royals beat the Baltimore Orioles in their first game of the series, so Kansas City's up 1-0. Very great squad there with Bobby Witt Jr. It's a very awesome team. And then it heads over to, once the wild card series is done, it goes to the ALDS, either versus the Yankees or versus the Guardians. The winner of Baltimore versus Kansas City plays the Yankees. The winner of the Houston and Detroit series plays the Cleveland Guardians. And then on the NL side, if the whoever wins from Atlanta and San Diego faces the Dodgers. And whoever wins versus the New York and Milwaukee series faces the Phillies. So that's it's gonna be
Nobody has picked the Brewers to make it past the Phillies, by the way.
yes. So hopefully they can pull it together here.
Jacob.
And
Let's watch.
kind of to round out the MLB segment here, the White Sox set the all-time record of losses in a season in the modern era with 121 losses. They finished with a record of 41-121. One more loss than the record holder in 1962 New York Mets, who were an expansion team, mind you. So kind of give them some slack there a little
Can you
bit.
believe that 5 years ago people considered these guys contenders?
That's the sad part about
That's
it.
the craziest part about it.
They lost to the Tigers on Friday, September 27th, 4-1. That allowed Detroit to make the playoffs, actually. So that's even better. Truly an incredible feat that they accomplished. And shout out Mateo in the fishbowl. Obviously, we're not going to go to the fishbowl, but Mateo is a big White Sox fan. I feel bad for him.
I don't.
So that's an incredible feat, honestly. It's truly insane that a team could lose that many games.
Be that terrible.
And they could have lost a lot more, too.
Man, they had a legitimate chance to set a new record by 10 games at
That's
one point.
insane. Wow. Well, thank you for that. That was a great way to end the MLB segment. For an NBA update, not much is going on. Preseason starting.
Well, I
in a
have
couple
something
days.
to actually put on this really quickly. Did you guys see the video of Dame Lillard when he was getting his media day stuff taken?
I saw Giannis when he
He-
jumping up and down.
Dude, Dame looked incredibly dead inside, just unhappy.
Oh.
It was crazy. Like, it
We're
wasn't
winning
even.
the finals this year, man. What are you talking about?
Sure.
Nah, Brody
I have
Bronny
some-
James got it locked up.
Not we go. Come on. All right. I guess that'll take us to our NHL update then.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Preseason. Yeah, nothing a lot to talk about. Everything is awesome and also terrible at the same time because you watch teams who are like, oh, these guys would be like wicked to watch, and then your favorite team like loses by 10 goals, and it's just insane. And the Panthers going to remain scary this year. And so that brings the question, who do you guys feel is the most dangerous team going into the season?
I think the Buffalo Sabres are currently the most.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that at the end of this segment. You know, flashback to what happened last week.
I am picking for my team. I'm gonna pull it up. The Buffalo Sabres. Now hold on. I'm a secondary Buffalo Bills fan. I like Josh Allen.
I'm gonna throw this.
That Sports City reminds me a lot of small town like Green Bay. So that is my choice. I think their logo is cool. There's swords. Stop it, Liam.
The Buffalo Sabres.
There's swords in the logo and a
I mean, I can't. What are you gonna say?
Yeah,
What are you gonna say?
no one knew this.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
I have a backup. I do have a backup.
No.
Just in case.
Oh,
There's no backup.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not the Sabres.
We did just win. The Buffalo Sabres, my team, just won against the Detroit Red Wings.
That's not saying
This man
much.
sent me a screenshot at like 2 o'clock in the morning that showed the Buffalo Sabres winning.
I forgot I did that.
That's awesome.
I think the Preds could look good for sure with the new additions. I think the Stars would probably be good too.
And they did just lose Joe Pavelski.
I know, but
Yeah,
that's okay. They still have a great team there. So
Badgers legend, Point legend. He grew up in Fulmer.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes, this is true.
I think it's.
we
Yeah.
definitely did.
yeah, we
We
talked about
definitely
this.
did. What about you? Dangerous team, and not the Maple Leafs because we all
You
know
can't
that.
tell me that the Calgary Flames are 5-0-1 in preseason.
It's preseason. They could have all their best players playing against a bunch of coast guys. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, you're right.
Like a couple of ECHL players. in
yeah,
general.
exactly.
I will say
Most of those are River Falls guys, by the way. Did you see
that's
that?
funny. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I kind of have to agree with Alex saying the Predators, especially with their offseason that they had. I really have a lot of high hopes for them. And I really enjoy watching them with a couple friends of mine that watch the Predators. They're definitely a team that could make a lot of noise, and especially after last season's playoffs. Like, they're hungry for more, and they're looking to kind of get back into it with a couple key additions. And they just signed Yusei Saros back for how many years, so he'll be locking down the net.
Second coming of Pekka Rinne.
Probably. A
Um,
lot of high hope for him.
yeah. And my only thing I will say about the preseason is, I don't know if you guys saw, but Martin Brodeur's son started in the game.
For the Devils.
Yeah, and Jared
That's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So like everybody heard you saved by Brodeur and just instant flashback right to the good days.
And he usually plays in the East Coast, and I will say he had a good game for
Really
himself.
solid game.
Yeah. So
Hopefully we see a lot more of that. I've missed Brody Brodeur a lot. And in my opinion, I feel like it's the Red Wings. I feel like Red Wings are going to be dangerous this year. They have a lot of key additions.
The Sabres did just beat the Red Wings.
Okay, moving on from that.
Preseason.
They just re-signed Mo Snyder, so they were called their trophy winner, and they still have Patrick Kane. So
I will say
Exciting.
though, they are a team that even last season they kind of looked tough and almost made postseason.
yeah, they were making a legitimate push right at the end. It just fell real short.
Game short.
Till like Philadelphia did some dumb stuff. I don't know why they did that. I'll never understand for the rest of my life. Moving on to still hockey, but NCAA hockey. NCAA hockey is back. Woo! UW Badgers men's hockey starts this week on the 5th with an exhibition against Nebraska Omaha. Ooh. Yeah, did you know Nebraska Omaha had a team?
And they're pretty good.
They are pretty good. It's crazy.
Division 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. They start their official season on the 11th against Lindenwood. I will be at that game. I have season tickets to the Badger games. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's Lindenwood. And then UW Badger women's ice hockey team swept Lindenwood in their season opener.
There you go.
They outscored the Lions 20-1.
Wasn't it
Across
8?
both games.
20-1.
They scored 12 goals in the first one, 12-9.
8-0 after the first period.
Yep, and in the second game it was 8-1.
Were they present? Were they there?
No.
Oh,
The Badgers are the #1 team in the nation for a good reason.
that's awesome.
Fair.
Yeah. And then, Jacob had a very important decision to make. He made the decision. It's a terrible, awful decision. Probably the worst decision he could have ever made in his entire life. I don't know why he made that
It's a
decision.
cool logo, man.
Is that really like the only thing that you like?
No, I do like Buffalo as a sports city. I think it reminds me a lot like Green Bay. They have a smaller kind of.
He has some homework to do.
Okay.
Do you know who Dominic Hasek is?
You'll find out.
You're gonna
No, you can't look it up
You
right
can't look it up
now.
right now.
What does that mean?
You're gonna have to look it up and
This is a good
report
thing or a
back.
bad thing?
This is a good thing.
It's a great
This
thing.
is a great thing.
I mean, back in the day, it was great.
Yeah.
Their
I don't know if he can still
logo's
play
cool.
anymore. It's-
I like Buffalo. I like the name. Their rivals are the Boston Bruins. I do not like Boston sports teams. So.
Well, rivals is generous. I feel like the Bruins kind of just beat up on Sabres every
But
year.
that's what the Patriots did to the Bills for 20 years.
Man, then the Sabres rival everyone because everyone beats up.
Oh, okay. This year it's gonna change.
Mark his words.
One of my words. It's gonna change. And I think that's it, right, guys?
Uh-huh.
All right. From all of us here at SportsPoint, we'll see you next time.